Yeah, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sridhar's newsletter and the podcast, our show called Minimalist Techie. I really appreciate you being here so we can connect weekly on interesting topics. So, today's podcast is more like very general self care, the issue which I currently am facing. So, if you're new here, you can listen to our show Minimalist Techie over Apple or the Spotify, or you can find us even on the YouTube as well. So, or you can directly come to sridhargargipati.substack.com. So you can directly receive the subscription to your email, or you can come to my website. Just click on these play buttons on the website on each post, and then you can directly listen on your device browser pretty easily. So normally, like my weekly newsletter is all about the articles, books, what I read or watch, or my views on different topics which revolves around my head during the week. So if you are tuning in today, you might be feeling so. Today's topic is entirely different. This is something which I am facing, and I most so I want to take some notes for myself. That's the reason I have given some thought to do a podcast at the same time to take some notes on it. So today's topic is the summer chaos. My title would be "I hate the heat." So, if you're tuning in today, you might be feeling a certain kind of a way, maybe a little frazzled, maybe a little sweaty. Perhaps you're currently contemplating setting up a small inflatable pool in your living room just to cope up with the sheer intensity of an early summer. Because if that's you, then you're definitely not alone. If there is one thing I'm feeling right now and hearing from just about everyone I know, it's a resounding sentiment that could be the title of this episode. I hate the heat. It's mid June, and if you're like me, that means you have got a lot on your plate. This isn't just any time of the year, it's the annual summer squeeze. We are navigating school graduation season. So, in Virginia, we have completed the end of the school year. This is the summer holidays for the kids, with all its beautiful ceremonies, the bittersweet goodbyes that are heartwarming, and let's be honest, absolutely exhausting. Then there is a mad dash of summer camp registrations, trying to secure those spots, dealing with the wait list, and preparing the mountain of supplies from sunscreen to the insect spray, bug sprays, and don't forget the vacation planning, which, while exciting as it sounds, often feels like a full time job in itself. Coordinating flights, accommodations, and the itineraries that somehow please everyone. Plus, many of us are trying to hit those last major deadlines at work before the summer slowdown. So, that rarely actually slows down, as we know. It's a period of intense transition and the activity. Honestly, this is the time of the year for me, and everyone I know is running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And then, as if all of that was not enough, Mother Nature decided to turn the dial up way up actually. So here in US, particularly across large parts of the East Coast and stretching into the Midwest, we have been smacked right in the middle of very serious, unrelenting heat wave. We are talking the temperatures which are hitting 95, 100, the field slides are touching 105, 106, sometimes even on a higher temperature. So day after day, it's not just the hot weather, it's oppressive. The wind, yeah, you step outside, it feels like you're breathing through a lot, pretty hot and a wet blanket on your face. So that thick and heavy humid hair just clings to you. It drains your energy, and the moment you leave the sanctuary of the air conditioning, and for me personally, I have found myself dealing with a persistent sore throat and the nasal congestion as soon as the temperature is crossing 90 Fahrenheit if I'm spending some time outside. Even sitting in the shade, if I'm breathing some air, I'm getting dehydrated, I'm getting this persistent sore throat and the nasal congestion issues, which just adds insult to the injury when you're already feeling physically and mentally drained by the heat. It's a constant battle to stay cool and comfortable, and that takes surprising toll on your body and your mind. And that's not even talking about the absolute chaos of the world. Beyond our personal busy seasons and the relentless sun beating us down, there is a daily dose of headlines that make you gasp. At least it did to me. I was listening every week, every daily NPR episode, and NPR first episode podcast, and I was also listening to New York Times Daily. That's almost like giving my brain a daily dose of the headlines that make myself gasp and make me question or simply make me feel deep sense of incredulity. Whether it's global tensions or ongoing climate impacts beyond just the heat, or the swift pace of the change and the challenges here in the US and across the world, it's pretty lot to process. The sheer volume of information, the constant feeling that the things are shifting underfoot. It's all about it all adds to a general background, a hum of stress and unease that we carry with us. We are not just dealing with the heat or our to-do list, we are actually processing the weight of world in our mind that can really compound the feeling of being overwhelmed. All of this swirling energy, the external chaos of the world, the internal demands of our lives, and very real physical discomfort of the extreme heat can make you feel stretched thin. And I have certainly felt that in the recent weeks very acutely with the severe dehydration, sore throats, nasal congestions. And it's powerful, undeniable reminder of why taking care of ourselves, especially when the world feels like it's conspiring against our calmness, is self-care is not a luxury, yes, it's a fundamental necessity of our life now. I have made a conscious effort over the past little while to implement a certain changes to my lifestyle in order to make things generally more calm to me. Well, let's say chill than hectic. But I think this heat wave, I have to remind myself what were those self care which I have been doing since more than 8 to 9 years now. So this today's topic is basically to remind myself as well. So let's talk about those. These are not some revolutionary ideas about self care, but they are very intentional choices that I have been making, and those intentional choices that have really made some difference for me. For example, I try to keep a regular bedtime. So yeah, this sounds incredibly very simple, maybe even a bit childish, but a consistent bedtime is my non negotiable. Our bodies actually crave routine, and when else feels up in the air and unpredictable, a steady sleep schedule anchors me. It's a quiet promise to myself that no matter how wild the day was, I will prioritize and take rest. Another practice that's been invaluable in regularly reading some books. If you wanna, so I'm mostly fan of non-fiction, but I think in order to keep yourself calm, you should I should shift my focus to reading some fiction for relaxation. For me, escapism isn't just a treat; it's a genuine therapy. Diving into a good story, getting completely lost in someone else's world for a little while gives my own mind a much needed break from its endless to do list and its worries and its constant processing. It's a mental vacation, actually. And this one might surprise some of you. I have started taking walks without always blasting my brain with the podcast and the audiobooks. Don't get me wrong, I love good podcast. I blast music. I listen to complex podcast when I'm doing some workouts in the gym or even the outside walks. But sometimes my mind just needs to be quiet. So just listening to the sounds around me, feeling the breeze, or just play a simple white music or a pink music onto your headphones so that it can help you to to calm. So yeah, white music, pink music, brown music, you can just get some simple app, which is mostly look for an app on your phone. There should be a free app on App Store or Google Store, wherever you are. You guys can look for white noise. It's a pretty good sound therapy for calmness, for sleep, for focus. There are different a number of different sounds are there. So there are ocean waves, there are rain sounds. So it's up to you. You can get into a pretty good sound therapy as well. So, or you can simply walk without any headphones. So you can just that's what I have been doing since last 10 days. So without listening to any podcast, any audiobooks, not even music, maybe here and there the sound therapy white music, uh, that will actually simply drift my thoughts without any external input, and it's actually gives an incredibly a calmness into our mind. It's a chance for my brain to truly decompress. These aren't the grand gestures, are they? They are intentional, the small choices to create the pockets of the calm in what can feel like a relentless storm. But it's also true that sometimes, despite our best intentions, even our most diligent self care practices, life is just well busy. Like right now, when the external environment, like a brutal heat wave, combined with a personal and the global pressures, gets so nutty that even our best intentions can't calm the chaos. So, I do recommend the following. So, these are some strategies that have helped me in the past, and I truly believe they can help you too. And this part is actually to remind me those strategies so I can re-implement them all over again. The first, say, recognize and remind that this is just a phase. So this is my number one mantra right now, and honestly, it's one of the most powerful things you can tell yourself. Are you in the midst of particularly a stressful 2 weeks before vacation, a demanding period at work, a summer where mercury just won't drop below the feeling of a dangerously hot weather? It's all right. I promise you, you will get through it. I have promised myself to get through it. So remind yourself, I have to remind myself repeatedly, if necessary, this is a temporary phase. You, me, we are closer to the other side than you think. So let this phase be what it needs to be, just a phase. So it won't last forever. This intense heat will actually break, the deadlines will pass, the school will resume. This isn't about ignoring the difficulties and predicting they aren't happening. It's about acknowledging the feeling of overwhelmness, but holding on to the most powerful truth of knowing that this is a phase. So it allows you to acknowledge the struggle without letting it to consume ourselves. So try to hold on to at least one grounding restful practice, no matter what. So when the life feels like the time is currently slipping through my hands like a sand, I am holding on to two practices I know are incredibly important to me. One is my weekly gym classes, or I do my own gym training in my community. So no matter how much the day has gone off the rails, no matter how much external chaos is swirling, that 1 hour early in the morning will actually leaves me a feeling much energized and accomplished and deeply present. It's a moment where I'm focused purely on my body, my breath, and my movements. The mindful presence is incredibly powerful in anchoring to me something tangible and positive. I have been going to the gym maybe more than 15 years now. So I know that every day morning, why my first 4 hours are why I'm very highly focused is because of that early morning workouts, cardio plus weightlifting that actually gives me a lot of boost starting off my day. So my other sacred practice Used to be a library earlier, but I have to restart that my policy to visit weekly library for myself and along with my son. Nothing makes me much happier than picking a new book off the shelf or picking up a latest book and reading it on my Kindle, or picking up some books for my kid so that he can read next to me or I can read to him. So instead of looking into a lot of emails, get banging our head with the deadlines, this will actually this actually reading actually gives me, even I do it for 20 minutes, it's a deeply restorative sense for me. It is very small and an intentional pocket of the piece that actually helps me to get through it for the rest of the day and the right on the foot. Think about the moment. What small practice can you hold tightly to amidst this end of a year school rush or during the sweltering summer? It doesn't have to be grand. It could be a 10-minute meditation, a daily cup of tea. You can savor it in a complete silence, or just a 5 minutes of staring out of window with a no agenda. So the key is to commit to it in order to protect the time and let it be your anchor. You- Meditation is the greatest practice for me. If you're a religious person, you can do a lot of prayers in calm. You can do, even the prayers are also like called as like humming meditation. When you read those mantras, you're doing your prayers. That's called humming meditation. You're not allowing any other thoughts come to your mind, right? So meditation is a very best practice. That is something you can relax your mind for 15 minutes and then continue for your rest of the day feeling much more energized. So beyond this general the grounding practices, when you're battling the elements like this brutal heat wave, a self-care routine actually becomes even more crucial. The scientific research shows that the extreme heat isn't just uncomfortable, it's genuinely impact our mood. It increases the stress hormones like cortisol, it disrupts sleep, and even worsens the feeling of anxiety and irritability. When your body is working overtime just to keep yourself cool, it's actually depleting your energy reserves and it's impacting your mental state. So, here are some practical tips to manage the heat and its effects. Hydration. Yep. Hydration. So, this sounds very obvious, but it's your number one defense. I'm talking about more than just water. In this heat wave, definitely water didn't help me to get dehydrated. So, I took help of Google and I bought some electrolyte drinks. So you can bring some electrolyte drinks from the store, coconut water or watery fruits like watermelon, cucumber, and oranges. These help replenish vital minerals you lose through the sweat. Try to avoid excessive caffeine, tea, alcohol, smoking, as they can actually dehydrate you much further. Keep a reusable water bottle with you all the times. Maybe set up an alarm on your phone every hour so that you can remind yourself to take a big gulp. In order to, especially in a heat wave, I was seeing that I clearly understood after 90 I cannot go out. It's really hurting my health, and I have been noticing the changes since last 3 years. Every time a peak heat, I'm outside, I'm getting dehydrated, I'm getting sore throat, I'm getting nasal congestions, right? So I was just talking to some of my friends or colleagues who are in Texas, which is much more hotter places. So the most recommended option is stay indoors during the peak heat. This is very crucial. The hottest part of the day is usually between 10 a.m. and or 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. based on where you stay. If you can avoid going outside entirely during these hours, so stay indoors during the peak heat. Cool showers or the baths, these are amazing for instantly bringing you down your core temperature. Even you are just even just dipping your feet in a basin of the cool water can provide you a surprising relief. Wear some light, loosening clothing. So opt for the natural fabrics like cotton and stick to the light colors. These choices make a huge difference in your body and it dissipates the heat. Take a cool compresses, a damp cloth or an ice pack on your neck, wrist, or inner elbows can offer surprisingly fast relief or the cooling the blood flow close to the surface. Utilize fans, air conditioning. If you have an air conditioning, please use it. If you don't, fans can help. If you have air conditioning, especially with the heat wave out above 100 Fahrenheit, I think the recommended to keep your temperature at 78 and use some alternate solutions like a mid-sized cooler at your home only for that room instead of blowing up your entire home. Use fans as much as possible, especially if you place a ball of ice in front of them to create a makeshift cool breeze. Also, don't be shy about seeking out the public cooling centers, libraries, water parks, even a local shopping mall for few hours of the free, glorious air conditioning relief. Food choices. Opt for a lighter, cooler meals. Think crisp salads, refreshing smoothies, and the plenty of the fresh food. Eat lot of fresh fruit. Avoid avoid very heavy and the hot meals that can make your body work harder to digest and generate more internal heat. Do something for your mind too. So take a deep breathing exercise. So this week I learned of something called box technique, which is more like you breathing 4 seconds, then holding for 4 seconds, then exhaling for the 4 seconds, then again hold for 4 seconds, again repeat this entire process. So this is like 4 times doing it, 4 seconds each. So deep breathing definitely helps you. So try to do it for 10 times. The box breathing method. So when we are stressed and overheated, our breathing tends to become very shallow and rapid. So taking a few slow deep breaths, inhaling deeply into your belly and holding for a few seconds, like 4 seconds, and then exhaling slowly signals to your nervous system that you are safe. It can calm you almost instantly. Let's try one quickly. Inhale slowly for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and slowly exhale for the count of 4. Do it for 9 other times. You will feel a sudden shift. It is a powerful technique. It's called breathing exercise, a box technique. Gentle movement, even while your gym class, Pilates class might be excellent, for other even the stretch sessions inside, do a stretching at home. Open some YouTube channel and do at home stretching activities. Some small and slow restorative yoga poses, or even just dancing to your favorite song in your living room can release the tension and get your blood flowing without overheating you. Beyond walks, try mindful eating. Like don't eat biryani on a heat wave day. So truly savoring each bite of your food. So or mindful listening, just focusing on one sound like the hum of your AC, or I do recommend White Noise app, or a distinct chipping of a birds if you stay in a certain climate. Even a quick scan, body scan meditation, where you can focus on sensation in each part of your body without a judgment, can be incredibly grounding. There are tons of the free apps like Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer that are offered guided meditation for all levels. Insight Timer is something is what I'm using right now. So I do recommend this app. Uh, and for this app, you don't have to keep your screen on. That's the best feature which I like. With the other apps which I have utilized when you're doing meditation session, when you click on play, your screen has to be on. I think the developer might be thinking that you might be doing multitasking. That's the whole reason why they choose for that option. But I don't like the high screen time on my phone, and also it heats up your phone. For 30 minutes, if at all, you're keeping your screen on. So insight timer actually allows you to, you can just don't have to put your screen, you can turn your screen off and you can still continue with your guided meditations with them. Healthy escapism, you're already aflow with books, so keep a stack of novels, thrilling mysteries, or uplifting or non-fiction that are absolutely nothing to do with the work or the global crisis. Dive in. When it comes to movies or the shows, choose comfort. Light-hearted comedies, fascinating nature documentaries, or visually stunning films that transport you to another world. Now is the time for the intense dramas. Now is not the time for the intense dramas and news heavy content if you are trying to distress. Think about what brings you genuine joy and calm. Understand the power of no. Finally, this is a big one for me. Sometimes a true self care is simply saying no to one more thing on your plate. So understand how to say no at workplace, understand how to say no to yourself at home. Saying no, say no to an extra commitment that actually going to stretch you too thin. Say no to the feeling, say no to the feeling guilty for taking such needed break. Say no to the pressure to be always on and productive all the time. And your well-being needs that space. Your well-being needs your me time. So this is a true summer chaos, a relentless heat and the weight of world on my head, and it's all very real. And it's valid to feel overwhelmed. At least I felt very overwhelmed last week. So and feel stretched. But so is our incredible capacity to navigate it with the grace, and that's our resilience, that's our intentional self-care. It's not about eliminating every single stressor because that's often impossible. Instead about find some small anchors, those moments of the quiet and those intentional acts of your maybe meditation, you doing your prayer, those intentional acts of those self-kindness, doing your breathing exercise, right? That will actually going to help you refuel, recenter, and remind yourself that you, me, we got this. You are doing great. I hope to myself that I do great with my reminding myself these tips, even when it feels like things are not going well. Give yourself a permission to feel overwhelmed, and then give yourself a permission to a step back, recenter, and implement even just once small self-care strategy today. What's your go-to grounding practice when life gets this wild? How are you coping up with this extreme heat? And I did love to hear from you. So do drop a comment on our pod. I would really like to listen from you. So that is all for this week. See you again. Do let me know in comments or reply me over email to share what is your view on this post. So share, like, subscribe, whatever these days kid says. Stay connected, share ideas, spread happiness. Bye bye.